Hey guys, today we have Morri Leland, Naval Academy graduate, class of 1983. Morri spent a full career in the Navy as a fighter pilot. After that, he spent 10 years at Lockheed Martin, and then the last 3 years as the CEO of Patriot Mobile. And I started working with Morri as he was looking for his next transition after being CEO of a startup that he grew to $20 million. And Morri, let me ask you, what were the main points that you were looking at, main challenges at that time?
Well, Tom, thanks for talking. It's a great question because it's a big decision. Career decisions are different for everybody. The biggest things I was looking for was I was looking for some help in the career search and the career transition, really things that I had not had to focus on for a long time. I mean, look, I had a successful military career and a successful career in business, but I hadn't spent a whole lot of time doing career transition. Quite frankly, I never had to. Each one kind of came and I knew what I wanted to do and I worked it. But this one was a little bit different because I had taken a bit of a sabbatical. I decided to change industries to go back to aerospace and defense from telecom. And it was just a transition I had not made before. So I needed some help. I needed some expertise, particularly in today's environment. I didn't have specific problems. I had challenges. The biggest challenge for me was actually learning to do that. I hate to use the term sales pitch, but learning to do that way of promoting myself and marketing myself. I have no trouble marketing, whether it's weapons for an aerospace company or you want to talk about cell phones and wireless technology. I can do that all day long. But I've never had to actually think and focus on, okay, how do I market Morri Leland into a particular role? And going back into, even though I'd been in aerospace and defense, going from telecom to aero, switching sectors, that was another challenge for my particular situation.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you had a super successful career in the Navy, several combat tours as well, and then you transitioned that into defense and then into a startup in telecom. But at the same time, I feel that, one of the biggest things you're looking at how to market yourself. So when we were working together, what were the main things that you learned as a result of our coaching?
Well, look, Tom, I mean, I'll tell you and tell everybody who's listening. Tom, I mean, the fact is that you provided the tools and the process to execute the transition. So I'm a process person. That's my background. I started as an engineer way back in the day. Your system was what I needed to focus my efforts and go through a methodical way of approaching the transition. Once I got that, I mean, that was the biggest help to me. It filled in the gaps for what I needed to do. I have been very successful. I've been very fortunate. I was in the military and had a great career. And in business, I've had 2 great careers already. But when you do make a change from one sector to another, or if you make a change from one business to another, if you don't have a job while you're looking for a job, it can be a little bit challenging. Those 2 things are new and different. So as successful as the last company I had was Patriot Mobile. We took it from 6 people and a dog in one room to $25 million in 3 years. Great fun, very successful. However, my passion was to go back into the aero and defense world. So naturally, you get challenged, and they go, "Hey, great, you did this thing, in telecom, but it's kind of like you're re-entering and starting all over again, even though you're not." Similar to when you make the move out of uniform into the civilian world, people in the military, you've never done that. So your process, Tom, and your tools are a great way to make that transition or to assist people in the transition.
What was that process that exactly, as a process guy, what was that process for you?
Well, I tell you what, you've got the tools and the knowledge and things like LinkedIn, networking, some things that some people find pretty simple until you get it laid out clearly. You go, yes, that's actually the way I've done things before, or maybe I need to make a change in a particular technique. But the fundamentals are easy to grasp. A lot of people depend on LinkedIn, and I was a heavy user of LinkedIn after working with you. And it's not something that I had done previously, but in 2020 and beyond, it's your business card in the business world. So it helps with an intro. So that mechanical part you filled in and obviously have all the expertise for that, but it goes farther. networking was explained in a different way. You recommended a couple of resources, some books and things, and that all helped. We all think we know what networking is. If we've been in business a while, I've been all around the world. I've worked in my industries. I know lots of people, and you go, we got a lot of big network. It's different when you're networking for a transition. And you cleared all that up for me and helped me go through that. So very helpful.
Well, you did a great job. I remember I called you the networking ninja, and because I was just amazed at how you really embraced the networking process and really did it in volume, which really helped you get comfortable, and second, meet a lot of people. What do you think you can attribute your success in networking at such a high level that you did?
Honestly, you told me something early on, which I already was doing. Like, I was in a sabbaticals. Well, I'd picked a time when I wanted to go back into work. And as that time came, unfortunately, COVID hit, which was a huge distraction in the transition, but that's the way it goes. But I had already taken the approach that looking for my next spot in life, in the work world, in the business world, looking for work was a full-time job. So when you put the tools in place and explain how to do it in the process, I just put that in as basically a full-time job. And you even said early, if you stick with the process works. It's different length of time for different people, and everybody has different challenges. Like I already said, one of my challenges was switching industries, even though I'd been in it already. I didn't have a challenge, devoting the time and the effort. But when you go full time at it, and if you're methodical about it, yeah, the volume can crank up pretty high. I'll tell you, another challenge was interesting. Early on, I increased the volume of networking and the volume of engagement, but I got a little frustrated because, as it turned out, I wasn't focused enough on where to network. And I don't mean just geography, all that was part of it, but industry-wise, at the right level, who to talk to and who to spend time with. Believe me, you can spend all day on Zoom networking through acquaintances on LinkedIn. And you never know where your next opportunity is going to come from. But a better focus early on would have probably shortened my timeline. So every timeline is unique. Everybody's different. It took me several months before I landed the role that I wanted, but it worked. And some of that early time, I didn't waste it, but I learned some lessons for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a process, right? And I think you embrace the process of networking, adjusting, becoming more focused, and being able to, really iterate on the activities that you're doing. So maybe you can tell our audience where you are now and what was the result out of this coaching experience.
You bet. So I have joined a great company called Chemring Energetic Devices. Chemring is a group that's headquartered in the UK. We've got a couple of US businesses and a couple in the UK, one in Australia. The company fit exactly with my aerospace and defense background because I had heavy international. I have a lot of technical weapons, and I've been on the program management side. I've done business development and strategy side. So it ticked all the boxes that lined up with not just my skills, but also things that I really wanted to do. So I'm back in aerospace and defense. I mean, I admit I was pretty fortunate because I had time off and I had the resources to say, look, I really wanted to go back into some subject matter that I had a passion for. And that took me a little bit more time, but it was well worth it. Chemring's a great company. I've got a great opportunity here to help the company move forward and grow here also. So that was part of the things I was looking for. I still live in Texas, but I commute, and we got a headquarters in Illinois. So I'll be all over. Once again, I'll be back on a road show once COVID breaks open.
So what would you say to people listening and considering Career Nerds coaching?
I say, look, I appreciate the work that you've done, and it's a big decision. There's a financial impact. Tom's in business, and this is his livelihood, and I understand that. But if you're looking for that particular set of skills to help you make the transition and teach you the process and help you get oriented, it's a great way to go. I appreciate the time you dedicated and the relationship that we had that, quite frankly, improved my skill set and improved my way of looking for that next opportunity. And these are things that are going to carry on. I have no intention of moving roles, But if that should ever happen, or if I need to mentor and coach other people in the process, now I can use some of those lessons that you gave. So it's kind of a big circle. Yes, it's a business relationship, but we give back at the same time. Looking at your website, I can see a bunch of familiar faces on there of people, mostly former Academy folks, just because that's kind of who you focus on, but they're not all Academy. But yes, there's an immediate networking circle right there that I rely on today, and that's fantastic.
Well, Morri, it was great working with you, and I wish you all the best. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.